we're back doing something a little bit different today. Some of you guys might know this car, some of you might not. If you haven't, Larry Chen did a video on this car a couple years ago when I first built it. For everyone else that wants to just hear me talk about it a little bit more in depth, I built this car 2022, right when it came out. The reason why I wanted to build this car is because I saw a couple of Daigo Saito built 2 of these cars identical. Toyo Tires in Japan built 2 of these cars identical, both 2J swaps on each team, Pandem kits on both cars at the time. I think they've swapped the kits. Kangushi also used to run this kit. For me, it was the front end shot of this car. The bumper is just super aggressive, and you can kind of see Justin's got his car parked side by side with the stock GR bumper on it. The BRZ bumper looks a little bit different. I don't think it looks as good, but that's just my opinion. But the Pandem kit obviously will fit on either chassis, and your end result can be this, no matter if you're starting with a BRZ or if you're starting with a GR. Okay, a couple of different things. Even if you did see Larry's video on this car a couple years ago, I have changed the car a little bit. The wheels look the same, but they're actually 19-inch version of the same 57 CRs, 19 by 10.5 plus 12. These little carbon pieces do not come with the standard Pandem kit. They're actually from APR Performance or APR Racing. I don't know what they go by on Instagram. So if you do have this kit or want to purchase this kit to run on your 86 or BRZ, hit up APR and you can add on these little carbon little canards, diffuser, the side piece here, and the side, a little side piece over here, you know what I'm saying? And so it's 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of these, and then the bottom splitter. Another thing that I've added to the kit that doesn't come with it is this little lower diffuser. The Pandem kit comes with these little side canard thingies, diffusers. I don't know what they're technically considered. I thought the rear could use something else to kind of like make it a little bit more aggressive. So I think I got these from like...
Yeah, that's a Aeroflow Dynamics, yeah.
I did have to shorten this piece because it was a little bit too wide. So I cut down the sides and then I re-riveted these pieces in further so you can't even really tell. But other than that, it bolted on like it would if you were just running a stock setup. Now another thing that's been added to this car is this fire extinguisher.
Got him!
Something goes wrong, but you can see, oh, you're like, oh, is this guy on bags? No, I'm never gonna be on bags. Just remember that.
To this day!
Nothing against the people that run bags, but I just don't want bag problems. But this is pretty much the same as if you were running bags, but it just has air cups in the front, so you got up and down with that. So it's kind of like a Porsche lift kit. I think theirs are hydraulic on those cars, so it's a little bit nicer and probably stronger kit. But I have no issues. Super easy to install. It basically just goes over the top of your coilover. You do need enough adjustment to lower the spring down to be able to add that. Otherwise, it will raise your ride height if you can't go any lower than where you already are. So that's probably one downside to running air cups. It's actually a reason why you can't run them in the rear, because the rear shocks on all the FRS 86 chassis are like about this tall. So it doesn't leave you enough room. You could probably put them on there, but like I said, it's going to definitely raise your ride height. Like this is pretty much as low as it'll go. So adding the air cup would probably raise it at like probably a couple inches, I would think. The front could on this car go a 1/4 inch lower, but that's about it in your max. But you basically want to set the ride height static and then droop the spring. That way the air cup actually has room to lift. So it's not, usually you don't want to do that on a road car. You don't want to have it no preload and have the spring drooping, because when you hit a bump and it basically goes to catch the rebound, you can jump off the spring and you're pretty much just riding on the shocks rebound. Another thing, I got these after my buddy Ty bought this car. I got him these HKS mats for Christmas. I think they're in the front too, if I remember right. So those are like a nice subtle little add-on piece. And then underneath the mat, I added a JL Audio sub and amp down here. And then there's also a breaker to turn off the compressor for the air cups. That way it doesn't like drain your battery or anything, or it's not running all the time. And then we can move on to the brakes. I did have a power stop set up on here. I decided to switch to these STIs because the rears are still 2 piston like the power stops were, but the front are 6 piston. And also I'm gonna throw a little shade. Power Stop used a photo of this car for their brakes, but they weren't trying to work with me on nothing. You know, I was gonna buy another kit and they were like, left me on red. So I was like, not shout out to them because that's kind of messed up. I didn't give you permission to use the picture and you guys didn't want to even work with me. So you know, there's the shade. That's what it is. So if you're with Power Stop, get you guys. Won't be buying any of your products again. Also, another thing about the kit, you can get a couple different wings. At the time, I thought this was the only one available. So this is you could basically get it no wing or with wing. And I think they make like a duckbill spoiler. I could be wrong on that, but they definitely make like a bigger, like, I don't know what you'd call it, like a big wing.
Like a GT almost, like
yeah, it's like a GT wing. It's probably like this big, and it's not cheap. I think it would look cool on like a drift car, but for this car, the Pandem wing kind of like goes with the kit. A friend of mine has a 326 wing that's like similar to this, but it's a little bit wider. That wing looks good on this car with the Pandem kit too. So that's another option if you were thinking about running this kit, but you didn't think this wing was aggressive enough. Now, the main thing, if you're not familiar with this car, it's no stock power plant.
Damn. That's a mean kitty. That ain't a stock power plant.
No, not stock.
Yeah, how many ponies?
700.
Damn!
Boom! 2J. Now, something cool about this 2J, this is just like a NA, like IS300 motor. This is like my base package if you're buying a motor from me. I'll start with an NA motor, completely disassemble it, machine everything. You got a ton of options at that point what you want to do. The bare minimum, that thing that you should do is run 2J GTE pistons, a much stronger piston design overall, just because of the ring lens. They're spaced differently, maybe the material is different, but the NA pistons have ring length failure problems. Even though the compression can be fine if you're running like an ethanol setup. Best thing to do is run the turbo pistons, or if you want to increase the compression, do a forged piston. You can control however much compression you want to run. This is just OEM brand new 2J GTE pistons. It's got aftermarket bearings in it, and it's got ARP head studs, OEM 2J turbo gasket. That setup alone can hold, you know, 800 plus horsepower. This setup has all stock valve train from the NA head. Nothing has been changed out. It just had the head surfaced, and that's another thing you can do. You can remove a bunch of material from the surface of these heads. Since it's an NA motor, the quench area is actually larger, so it will lower the compression, putting turbo pistons and rods in here more than it would if you had a turbo GTE head on this block. I think the GTE compression is 8.5 to 1, so with this head on there, it's probably more of like 8 to 1. Could be even lower, but so one thing you can do is just take about 20 thou off the head and decrease the size of the quench area, and then you'll get back to like that 8.5 to 1 compression. Now, some of the things that haven't changed since I built the car, it's got a G35 1050 turbo, custom downpipe and exhaust, 3-inch all the way back. It does make about 530 wheel, maybe 540. I can't remember. We had it retuned about 2 years ago. And then it's got a Grady intake manifold that I've welded to a factory NA lower intake. It's got all radium goodies in the fuel system, even as far as like this brake master cylinder brace that goes off the strut tower. That one's from, I believe, just the regular FRS, the first generation. It fit right on there. And just for some of you guys that don't know, every car I build, it's got some sort of radium product on there, and I've been using their stuff since the beginning. Back when I was buying their stuff retail, and then once I started my shop, I was able to get stuff wholesale, and then now, as far as I'm a sponsored driver. I guess I'm a driver builder. I'm not even really a driver. I'm just a builder. But yeah, I like using their stuff on everything. It's really easy to incorporate their stuff on any build. On this setup where I've moved the radiator and there's nowhere to put a radiator cap on the radiator, so the radiator cap is on the swirl pot there. So that's your pressure cap, and then it's got a overflow line that goes down to this overflow that I've made down there. It's got a radium swirl pot on it. It's got a radium fuel hanger that was for the first gen FRS. It fit right in there. One thing that is different is the crossover tubes inside the tank. You should take all of those from a first generation FRS because the lines are a different size and the fittings, the little quick disconnect fittings are a different size. So in order for it to be a drop-in thing, you just get all the guts and lines out of it in the fuel assembly hanger that has another level sensor in there. And then all your level sensor stuff will work. It does have a radium catch can down there. It's got a radium fuel pressure regulator with the built-in pulse dampener on it. I've also added this HKS carbon fuse box cover. But yeah, from the the cooling system, fuel system, catch can, and make a ton of different stuff. I think we're gonna put this car on flex fuel, so we'll get a little radium flex fuel mount. God damn, there's like a bee hovering my ear. It's like keeps going by my damn ear.
Oh, he's near me now.
And then some of the things that I've updated before when we went to WECFest, added this little drift motion VVTi cover. Originally just had a piece on there that was painted black, so that was getting kind of like rock chips or whatever, kind of just deteriorating. I built this whole car in like 30 days, so I probably like originally mounted the turbo and everything to start making the downpipe, and then I never took it off, and then had this thing done in black. So that, and then the charge piping, throttle body. I painted that black, recently painted that black on my RC. And here it's got a bunch of crimp lines on there, you can see. But yeah, like I said, it makes about mid 500s or so. It does have a W series trans, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, those trans are crappy, blah blah blah. I ran a W58 on this car for when I originally built it, and it was always making like 500 horsepower. Now I wasn't drifting the car, but once in a while, I've done burnouts in the shop, broken axle. I've done numerous pulls. I've done some first, second gear, like little drifts in the parking lot with the W trans, and nothing ever broke. Now, fast forward to 2023, I was going to go to WECFest, and this was like not long after I did that burnout in the shop. Ty and I were on the way to WECFest before he bought the car. And I did a downshift from 5th to 3rd on the freeway, let the clutch out, and the transmission just let go. I didn't even put the gas on or anything, so I think that thing said, you know what, I've lived long enough. It had 30-something thousand miles on it when I pulled the transmission out of manual SC300, and then I ended up doing a swap and everything on that car, and so that was the transmission from that car. And then I probably put, I don't know, maybe 5,000 to 8,000 miles on this car, just street driving it, all from 2022 to 2023 when I sold it to Ty. So that transmission let go, and now it has a W55 in it, a little bit closer ratio, which is not ideal on the freeway. So we might either change the rear end gear, or we might end up just changing the transmission in this car to maybe a 6-speed. The transmission tunnel is pretty small, so you're kind of limited on what will fit in this car. Even this transmission, it's like, we've done numerous pulls on it, not, beat on it too bad, but it's holding 500 and, like I said, mid 500, and it's been fine. So knock on wood on that, and hopefully we can swap to something else before this transmission breaks, and then it'll still be able to be used on a different car. And then another thing, I don't know if I explained this in Larry's video, but I'm gonna explain it now. This car was originally this color. I forget what it is. Technically, it's like got a metallic bluish color to it, so it's not just standard 202 Toyota black. It's got like this weird metallic color. In the sun, you can really see it. If I can find the photo, Justin will add it in. There's a few pictures that Larry took that show it off in the sunlight, that you can really see like how metallic it is. But yeah, so this was the original color of the car. I just had the kit and everything painted to match, because the paint was already brand new. It had 4 miles on it when I built it, so that was another cool thing. So I bought this car after I had already bought the kit. So I knew I was going to do the car. So I bought the kit from Kenji at Gretty. Thanks to Ken, he hooked me up on this. I got a good price on it. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid, but it was a good deal. Thanks Kenji and Kevin, if you were working there back then. Yeah, so I already knew I was building the car, so I bought the kit and then got the car. Only had 4 miles on it. I only had to go probably 5 or so miles down the road to pick this car up. I did pay over MSRP, like $3,500, so I didn't get hooked up on it, but I didn't care. I just wanted to build the car, so I just wanted to start with a black manual so I didn't have to paint the car, the whole car, and then I didn't want to have to do a auto to manual conversion, so I wanted to get a manual car. But yeah, the same hour I signed the paperwork, I already had it back at the shop, towed it back to the shop. I didn't even drive it 1 mile. Pulled the motor out, the whole thing was, all the lights in the dash were on, the thing was freaking out, it was all pissed. I did all the wiring and stuff. The factory, like the only thing that works in the factory gauge is the fuel gauge. All the other stuff I don't want to deal with. It's all CAN bus controlled. I don't know how to do any of that. So it's got a link dash in there controlling all the gauges. So it can basically see anything you want, RPM. It doesn't have a speedo in it, but with the link aim dash, you can actually get a GPS speedo. Ty's wife's S14 that I built has this same link dash in it, and I've got a GPS module in it, so she can see the speed when she's driving, so you don't have to just kind of, you know, read the room and see what speed. Assume everyone around you is doing the speed limit. So it is nice to have. So that is something we could add to this car. The number one thing I don't like about this car is when I did all this stuff, the rear view camera stopped working, and by troubleshooting that, I spent multiple days trying to figure out what it could be. I ended up taking another GR. I started unplugging the reverse sensor and other things, speed sensor, to figure out what was it that I unplugged that made the rear view camera. And up until I think I unplugged the engine harness or something, or the engine computer stopped. Well, like once I killed the power to the car and then you turned it back on and you knew the engine harness and stuff was gone, it basically needed to see the original engine start up and the camera work in order for the camera to stay working. So if I would have did the whole swap, not disconnected the battery, it would have been fine. But since I disconnected the battery after the engine was pulled out and then reconnected, and saw the engine was like basically missing, even with the original engine computer plugged into the chassis, it still like wasn't good enough. You needed to start the vehicle once with the computer after you disconnected the battery to get that like canvas handshake, you know.
Son of a
That was pretty much it. So once I unplugged, I think it was like either the computer or something, and then disconnected the battery. Once I reconnected the battery with that unplugged, the camera wouldn't work anymore. So that's got to be what it is. So I don't really think there's any way around getting the OEM camera to work. So that kind of sucks, because at the time I never had a car with a backup camera until I bought my truck. All right, so one other thing that I want to mention besides the link aim dash while we're in here is the steering wheel. This is a Casaba Auto steering wheel. It's like I think a perforated or deep corn, I don't know what they consider it, wheel. I think it's like 330. Normally I don't like 330s, but in the smaller car it kind of suits it. And then it's on an energy quick release, so if you have a bunch of steering wheels with energy quick releases, you can kind of like switch them around. I did have the Vertex OEM style wheel that Justin has in his car. You can kind of see how it is to install that GR Vertex wheel in this car. And then I think the only other thing left is the Momo seats that I've put in this car. And I wouldn't recommend doing fixed back seats in this car if you're trying to retain the back seat. Otherwise, maybe if you got some kids that can crawl through the middle to get into the back, but you're not getting back there with fixed back seats. So you might want to find a set of reclinable seats and make it a little bit easier, and some non-halos, so that way it's not kind of disrupting your view and you gotta kind of lean forward and look past them. Everything else, I put the stock shift knob on the trans, and the W58 style IS300 style tripod trans fits right in the middle of the stock shifter location, so it's a perfect setback for that. And then I kind of retrofitted the air cup button here, so the solenoids aren't on right now, so it's not working. But yeah, it's just up and down with that. One thing I couldn't get the stock button to work like I have on the Lexus. I only push it once and that basically engages the starter. This you got to kind of key it on. So I don't think I could get it to work the same way. So I just got another button hidden somewhere to start the car. Now, you guys saw the old GR86. If you didn't know that this was my old car, now you know. And this is now Ty's car. He's nice enough to let me drive it every once in a while. It's cool, but I try not to do it too much because, you know, on my luck, it'll break while I'm driving. And then he'll be like, no, like, you're the perfect person to fix it now. So then I'm going to feel bad. But another car that is my favorite car that I've sold is not my first S15, but my second S15 that I built that was black and looked like this. It's got a ton of hours into it. I couldn't even begin to tell you, probably 500 plus hours I have into this car. It's got spot welds everywhere. It's on a full rotisserie. The bottom inside and out is painted. Everything was touched on this car. Yeah, if you would like to see more of these kind of build breakdown videos of cars that I've built that I no longer own, or even cars that I still own, just say something down in the comments. Let us know. You know, mention something on the Instagram comments, just anywhere. Just letting us know that you guys enjoy these videos and you kind of want to, you know, see in depth of what these cars have as far as, like, you know, modifications. All right, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and like I said, let us know in the comments if you see anything else in the B-roll in the background. You know, Ty's got a Raptor R and some other cool stuff. Yeah, just let us know and I'll try to do a video about it. Peace.